Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So back again with another Alliance War video, War 3 of season 22, 21, I don't even know which one it is, but it is somewhere in the 20s. This time we're going up against GT40. They are very tough alliance, so I did take this war extremely seriously for most part. Right, anyways, it is also a bit of a messy war, and one of the messiest fights is exactly this first one, because I did this war fight kind of in a rush after my arena stream before I had to go to bed, and I did put on some reasonable level boost. However, wasn't necessarily entirely focused, and that will show dramatically. And thank God Tiger doesn't have the biggest health pool, because I'm gonna get clipped right here because where I ran in too quickly on the heavy attack. Then she manages to land an entire combo, whom I reply with a heavy attack of my own, couple of parries, and there that level 1 unblockable, and I'm back in a corner and smacked. And at this point I also have 4 raptures on me and I'm dying down, but all the damage that I do manage to do, and that level 2 just quickly finishes it off. So thank God for Suicide Masteries and boosts and Warlock being rank 3, because I played poorly. I didn't play well at all. But after that fight, I do get my crap together. I did actually have a few more fights planned in this war that I did end up taking. But well, basically I was asleep and I wasn't cleared to them kind of like early enough, and I woke up and those fights were done. So it isn't the longest Alliance war, but we still have some fair amount fights and some interesting fights. Now next up is Quake against Mojo. Now this guy has Masochism on, so the fight might be a bit long, but my Quake, well, this time I am running Suicide Masteries, and Suicide Masteries quite rapidly increase Quake fights, because they do increase Quake's damage quite significantly and does help a lot, even if you have to offset like Masochism, heal or whatever. Here we do land some nice aftershocks as well, because aftershocks have basically ability to shut down the Masochism. And yeah, it's going quite solid. Now unfortunately that I didn't time it quite right, but still 50 seconds, the fight is over. Not much to kind of like complain about at all. I wanted to take this Corvus as well, and then there was another fight, another Domino that I wanted to take, but as I said, I kind of went to sleep and then those fights were taken. Now this was a very serious war, and I have made kind of like a determination to try and perform the best I can in this Alliance War season and try and take as many fights as I can and ask my Alliance to give me more fights on mini-bosses and stuff like that. And actually splurged a bit on these like big boosts, because I wasn't entirely sure how many mini bosses I'm gonna get to fight or not. But this is the section 2. The section 2 right here is Warlock, then we have Iron Man Infinity War, then we're gonna have a very interesting Korg fight, which I wasn't entirely sure about, but all things considering I was relatively secure, I guess. So because I do have quite big boosts active here, I did activate the 3-minute regeneration boost. Why not? The regeneration boost is typically kind of the one that I always have either expiring, or I don't know, I should get into habit of using them more. And I think if you're running Quake with Suicide Masteries, that regeneration boost is kind of like perfect to offset the damage you are taking from the suicides, just so you don't have to heal as much. And obviously here you can see that Warlock, he's not the stubborn defender, he's not making contact with me, so I don't have to worry about infection. And the fight is going down extremely rapidly, extremely smoothly. At this point he's at like 10%. As soon as next set of aftershocks kick in, the fight will be over and not much to worry about. And yeah, very quick, easy, simple fight for Quake, and they definitely do go quicker than normal because I am running Suicide Masteries in this case. And major reason for that was because I am grinding arena for Immortal Hulk. Next up is Iron Man Infinity War, and I could have used either Human Torch here, I think, or Warlock. Well, Warlock is a champion that I'm most comfortable here with, and it is to do with how he power drains Iron Man Infinity War every time I do parry his first medium, which is a non-contact projectile attack, and I do get to basically control his power extremely well. In addition to that, because I'm only trying to drop my heavy attacks here, we can see that I do manage to occasionally land some bleed debuffs on the guy, which can do significant amount of damage. Now, one thing that I have learned for myself from previous fights is that I do not want to drop level 2 in this fight using my Warlock. What I want to do is I want to build up to level 3, and when he gets towards the end of the fight, I just want to drop that level 3 instead and hope that it finishes the fight. If it doesn't, it's still not quite a big deal because you can just parry heavy, you're going to be draining his power pretty much consistently, and you don't run any major risks. So now I'm dropping my level 3. Unfortunately, will not finish him because he is going to trigger those huge armor ups on what have you. But I am at the same time draining all of his power. He's taking the degen damage. I dropped my heavy attack there. He's dropping his level 1, but all the time he's degenerating from Warlock's signature ability, and the fight finished pretty much straight afterwards there. Now, in double speed, I am taking off Suicide Masteries because of this Korg. I could have probably kept them on, to be honest, but I would be losing a lot more health. And I wasn't entirely sure about this Korg fight either, just because I had never really done it with Human Torch. Human Torch is also a relatively new rank up to rank 3 for me as 6-star, so I'm not exactly confident on how much he can do, so I didn't want to risk it. Took off my Suicide Masteries, preset to how they normally would be. I'm also activating Limber in case I do get parried, because that stuff does happen. But as I'm getting in the Korg fight, I want to take a minute to point out, if you check out the video description, then we have a ton of cool things happening on the channel. We do have a merch store now that you can check out. We do have Discord server, Patreon page, channel dedicated line rooms, Facebook groups. There's a ton of things happening. And perhaps one of the coolest ones is that we are going to be going back in Abyss of Legends for every 1,000 subscribers that we reach. So if you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Hit that sub button and we're going to get some more cool Abyss of Legends streams. But now we can see that I brought in Human Torch against Korg. Now this node does have Buffet active, and it also has that strike counter power suppression node. So basically, I'm not going to have power the entire fight is what it means. But on the bright side, Korg's level 1 is energy based. So I am gladly taking all of those level 1s in my block. And with that, I'm building up my smolders, increasing my damage. And since I activated pre-fight ability, there was nothing Korg could shrug off. And the fight actually went extremely rapid. It was a very chill, relatively simple fight, and it went pretty much perfect. So I was super happy with that. Granted, I am quite heavily boosted as well. And yeah, now next up we are going to be taking Wolverine on Vigorous Assault minibus node. Now, I don't honestly think Wolverine is quite a champion that should be placed on Alliance War defense, in all honesty. But it's still cool to see a 5-star Wolverine in Alliance War. I believe this is the first time I am going up against him. And I'm just going to be using Quake. So it doesn't matter that he has regen, doesn't matter that he has Vigorous Assault. Nothing really does matter, right? I can just Quake, and I'm going to be using parry method here because I do think he is Stubborn Defender. I might be wrong, but I think he is. So that is why I went with parries. And it's fair enough. Obviously, Wolverine really isn't the hardest defender to go up against, I would say. Obviously, Vigorous Assault does make him more dangerous, but again, yeah, no, I don't think it is a great idea to place Wolverine on Alliance for defense, let alone as a mini-boss. Yeah, just no. No, there are significantly better options, I think. But either way, it was kind of a cool moment. Call back to old school wars when 4-star defenders were placed, and so was Wolverine, because regeneration abilities did scale with the modified attacks and willpowers, and it was quite crazy to deal with them. But yeah, I remember Wolverine bosses in AW long time ago. But next up, I actually wanted to deal with that Mcoc mini-boss as well, but I had no energy and I had to do some errands. I had to go to pop in shops, and as soon as I got back, Mcoc was done already. And now we're going to get to the second super messy fight of the war. So I'm going to use some of these tiny potions to top up Human Torch to the very end, and I'm kind of happy I did, because I'm going to play so bad in this fight. It's really going to be quite bad. And yeah, this isn't one of my proudest moments in Alliance War, I would say. So, first of all, I didn't really have to take this fight. It was assigned to somebody else. I spoke with the battle group officer. He allowed me to take it, so that bit's cool. So I have Human Torch. I'm thinking he's Mystic, and I should be having like a ton of smolders. I'm just going to block a ton, gain the smolders, incinerate a whole bunch, and, you know, do what Human Torch does. But I will... Well, one of the things that's happening in this fight as well that I don't like when Sasquatch does it, he didn't trigger his Wrath of Thekiryu till very, very late in the fight. That means that majority of the fight he actually had very significant damage mitigation ability, right? So I wasn't dealing as much damage as I normally would, because typically you can see that 6, 7, 8 is normally the border where Sasquatch does trigger that Wrath of Thekiryu. In my case, it's not happening. And whilst it's not happening, the fight is very simple, very straightforward. You can see I got the no flames, I'm dealing a whole bunch of damage, everything's working out. But also, what's happening, I'm dealing less damage than I normally would. And the biggest downside is when that Wrath of Thekiryu will trigger, it will last a really long time, and I'm going to get absolutely destroyed there. So you can see that it's active now. I accidentally blocked that. I tried to exit, I blocked it, so then I end up eating a full combo. Here, out of kind of a bit of a panic, I drop a level 3, and I actually run a risk of that level 3 pushing that Sasquatch to his own level 3, but luckily that didn't happen. At that point, I was like half convinced that I'm already dead, right? And here again, brute force is kicking in, and typically I fight much more composed against Sasquatch, and I like to think I'm decent at fighting him, but this fight definitely was not a showcase of that. But here in the end, he actually landed another 3 hits on me, but he placed a bunch of incinerates on himself. I somehow managed to survive this fight. Very messy finish. But we are having a great war. We are set to win this war. But that is it for my contribution here. And I'm going to catch you guys next time. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the